What happens when an iconic symbol of a city becomes the stage for a global outcry? An intriguing question that leads us into a discussion about the power of protest. A protest, in its most basic form, is a demonstration of dissent, a collective cry for change, or a powerful call to action. Recently, the majestic Golden Gate Bridge, a universally recognized symbol of San Francisco, became such a stage. It was here that pro-Palestinian demonstrators chose to express their dissent. The protesters didn't merely gather to chant and hold signs, they organized a coordinated blockade, disrupting traffic for hours on end. This wasn't a spontaneous act, but a meticulously planned demonstration by a group known as a 15 Action, a group that understands the power of a well-executed protest and the impact it can have. Their objective wasn't just to make a statement, but to disrupt, to make people take notice, and to force a conversation. The Golden Gate Bridge blockade was more than just a local event. The traffic disruption, while significant, was just a part of the overall picture. The protest was part of a larger multi-city action. Its goal? To impact the economy and to make their voices heard on a global scale. And so, we see the power of protest in action. An iconic bridge, a symbol of a city, becomes the stage for a global outcry, a place where the world is forced to stop and pay attention, even if just for a few hours. This wasn't just a local disruption, but a part of a larger multi-city action aiming to impact the economy. But the Golden Gate Bridge wasn't the only stage for this outcry. No, this was a global outcry, a symphony of voices rising up in protest from every corner of the world. From the bustling streets of London to the towering skyscrapers of Tokyo, similar demonstrations echoed the sentiments of the San Francisco protesters. This was not an isolated event, not a singular cry for justice. It was a chorus, a global echo. In city after city, across continents and time zones, people gathered in unison, their voices converging into a powerful message. The world was watching, the world was reacting, and the world was demanding change. This global echo, this collective outcry, didn't occur in a vacuum. It coincided with a time of heightened tensions in the Middle East, a time when the world's eyes were already fixed on the region. An Iranian attack on Israel had set the stage, a backdrop of escalating conflict that underscored the urgency of the protesters' message. But these global demonstrations were not just a reaction to the recent events. They were a response to a long-standing issue, a reflection of the world's growing awareness and concern. Their timing was not a coincidence. It was a statement, a testament to the interconnectedness of our world, a reminder that a cry for justice anywhere is a call to action everywhere. These protests, from the Golden Gate Bridge to the streets of cities around the world, reflect a collective consciousness, a shared sense of responsibility. They show us that the issues in Gaza are not confined to its borders. These issues are global, their implications far-reaching. So, as we watch these protests unfold, as we hear this global echo, we must remember what it signifies. It's not just about a bridge in San Francisco or a street in London or Tokyo. It's about a world that is increasingly interconnected, a world where a cry for justice in one place resonates across oceans and continents. It's clear that what's happening on the ground in Gaza is resonating around the world. The reverberations of these protests aren't just being felt on the streets, but in the corridors of power as well. President Joe Biden, for instance, has been quick to respond. He has expressed a steadfast commitment to Israel's security, along with a clear desire to prevent further escalation. This response is not without its critics, however, as the protests reflect a growing divide in public opinion regarding Israel's actions in Gaza. This divide is not just a matter of differing perspectives. It's a force that could potentially shape the political landscape in the run-up to the upcoming elections. As these protests continue to ripple across the globe, they're causing many to question long-standing policies and alliances. The issue of Israel's actions in Gaza has become a lightning rod, polarizing voters and candidates alike. On one side, there are those who stand firmly with Israel, seeing its actions as a necessary response to perceived threats. On the other, there are those who view these actions as disproportionate and unacceptable, sparking calls for greater accountability and a reassessment of the U.S.'s relationship with Israel. The political implications of this divide are far-reaching. It's not just about foreign policy or diplomatic relations, it's about the very values that underpin our society. It's about justice, fairness, and the kind of world we want to live in. And as the protests continue to gain traction, these questions are becoming increasingly hard to ignore. Public opinion is shifting, and that's something that those in power can't ignore. In the end, it all comes down to us, the people. Our voices, our opinions, our collective will can shape the world around us. When we talk about public opinion, we are not merely discussing a casual conversation at the dinner table. We're talking about a powerful societal force that can alter the course of events, shape policy, and drive impactful change. Public opinion is like a river. It may start as a small stream, but as more voices join in, it becomes a powerful force that can carve its own path, changing landscapes and topographies. And just like a river, it is ever-changing, ebbing and flowing with the pulse of society. Peaceful protests, like the one we've seen with the Golden Gate Bridge blockade, are a testament to the power of public opinion. They are a manifestation of people's collective will, a way for the masses to express dissent, to call for justice, to demand change. Protests are not just about disruption. They are about making the invisible visible, about bringing to the forefront issues that may have been overlooked or ignored. They are about challenging the status quo and advocating for a better, more equitable world. In this digital age, our voices are louder, our reach is wider. Our opinions can echo across borders, sparking conversations, influencing decisions, and inspiring actions. We, the people, have the power to make a difference. And when we stand together, united in our cause, we become an unstoppable force. As we've seen with the Golden Gate Bridge blockade, when the people speak, the world listens.